Trash is sexy. It depends on it depends
Who's
on who
picking
you
it up?
talk to. Yeah, I mean, it's like the world's third oldest.
Trash or cash, trash or cash. Is the idea trash or is cash? Let us know. Yes, maybe so, or for sure, it's a no. Should we stop while we ahead and turn around, or it's a go? Trash or is cash? Go on ahead, submit your vote. Hey yo, check dig, you're now tuned in to Trash or Cash Podcast. The show where the host will present a new idea and debate whether it's trash or cash. But the final decision is solely up to you, the audience.
Welcome to the Trash or Cash Podcast. I don't know, we probably could just get right into it, but have you gotten to see any of these yet?
I have not.
Okay, so real quick for you and anybody who just tuned in for the first time, introduce yourself real quick first. So
Sure.
Pretend like, I don't know you. We just met. It's coffee time. Like, hey, my name's like a networking thing.
Yeah, my name's Scott Kelly. I've been a deal guy for 30 years. Started on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange in the early 80s. Moved to San Francisco in 86. Worked as an investment banker, taking companies public. 93, in the midst of the dot-com boom, set up my own incubator. I had a few exits between 93 and 2000. 2000, I thought I was going to retire. I moved to Arizona. I didn't retire. On a whim, I invested in a record label, knowing nothing about the music business. 6 months later, I had my first gold record. So I spent 8 years in the music entertainment business. And then 2008, I set up Black Dawg Venture Partners as my accelerator to help early stage companies fund, scale, and exit. And help companies raise a few $1 billion, about 30 exits. Moved here a year ago, and that's what I do.
The physical accelerator, or is this online? Because so you're located in Tampa now. You actually have a physical space? Or
Yeah, I mean, I'm in St. Pete right now.
Gotcha,
But
gotcha.
yeah, we had a bunch of offices on the West Coast. I'm slowly closing them down. So we had one in Orange County, San Francisco, Vegas, and Phoenix. But I'm migrating everything to this side.
Cool. So this podcast, I think you'll dig it, is about ideas. And long story short, I'm going to introduce myself like you never met me before.
Okay. Jason
Centeno. I am a retired firefighter, adoption advocate, a political refugee from the city of Philadelphia to Tampa during COVID because I was like, I'm out, and bopped around for a little bit, didn't know what I was going to do. But I got obsessed with an idea of something that came from being an Airbnb investor. Had about 25 doors in Philly at one point. And you know how the best ideas come from being frustrated or pissed off at something. So
Sure.
The idea for the Trash Mitter app, which I'm currently bootstrapping, was I kept having this problem with excessive trash because once a week is not enough in a big city. You store it in the wrong place, you're going to attract bugs, smells, bad hospitality look, piss off neighbors, get fines, yada, 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 yada. And so I hate to say it this way, but the idea was born of a crackhead. And the crackhead was somebody I had hired who was supposed to do the job. And he was, but there was no way of tracking him. And I would give him these little advances because, my phone bill's off, or it's Christmas, I need to get money, or whatever. And he would forget. And then I'd be like, I paid you. And he'd be like, no, that was for something else. And it's like, it got to the point where I had to fire him. And then he started doing crazy stuff like throwing more trash on my property. And I had cameras, so I would see him and just making it worse. So I was like, this dude. So I got so pissed off at the situation in the city of Philadelphia. I was like, I got to do something about it. So it was one of them zombie ideas. And I was like, when I was here, I was like, what am I going to do with myself? I was like, I always wanted that idea. I needed that idea. And I know there's so many people in the short-term rental vacation industry, property managers industry, event planning, where they just need small amounts of trash removed fast. And they're willing to pay a little bit of a premium for it as long as it's 3 clicks and I'm done.
Right.
So that's what I created. And lo and behold, because, entrepreneurs got to market and they got to figure out ways to get out there in the world
Right.
that are not just, hey, use my service. It's like, all right, well, created my logo, got a DJ, started a party based around trash called the Trash or Cash Podcast, where 2 guys talk about big ideas and they're either trash or cash. But it was just my way of contributing to the bigger conversation and not just being someone who's, begging for work.
Right.
It's like, no, let me give some value other than picking up trash, because that's not that sexy. It can be, but trash is sexy. It depends on it depends
Who's
on who
picking
you
it up?
talk to. Yeah, I mean, it's like the world's third oldest profession or fourth. I don't know, but it's always with us. Yeah, I mean, this is just kind of my spin on things, and to keep it fun, friendly. That's kind of what I stand for. That's why I got green hair. I'm dedicated to picking up a million bags of trash through my app, and then I can change it back. it led to a over a year long fight between me and my wife, where she would not want to take pictures of me because I had green hair until I tricked her into one at an event, and then I defeated her. Right. So that became a game. So everything, I take everything like a game. Like, this is the game of trash. So this right now is the game of ideas, whether they're a trash idea or a cash idea, and why. And because you, my friend, are somebody who actually put cash down on cash ideas, I can't think of a better person to have in front of me right now as the person who's like put their money where their mouth is, because a lot of other people, they put their time, energy, and some money where their mouth is. But like, you don't care about any about it like that. If it's a good idea, you're going to actually drop some coin down on it. So like, thank you for showing up.
My pleasure.
And I don't know if I can give you a better introduction than that, but if you gave us a great introduction about yourself. I usually ask so other people can get to know you. Me too.
Sure.
3 kind of questions about people to kind of get, for somebody who doesn't know who you are, a little bit about what they are, what they stand for, where they're headed in life. And, you know, like I said, it's fun to get to know each other a little bit. Sure. We're not drinking yet. It's still too early. But if we were drinking, I mean, I can make that happen. It's like right over there.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Listen, we have a happy hour, so you just have to show up at 8 o'clock tonight. All right, so these are 3 questions. I switch them around, but this is what I like to start with. Sure. So, what are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of my 2 sons. Being a dad is the best job I've ever had. And I respect you for adopting some kids. Your son was telling me about that. And he's obviously a good representation of who you are. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. You got to see 2 of the 6. But yeah, I'm pretty proud on how they've turned out, and I'm hoping to keep that up. In fact, it's great that you say that, because I don't know if you know this or not, but my social media handle is The Dad Next Door. Everything I do is dad related. Yep. And to be honest for you, if I had a tribe, the people I care about the most in the world, my core customer, the people I would love to help the most are dad entrepreneurs, dadpreneurs. Because what happened to me is my family size doubled in 2014 and 2015. And I had to find a way to evolve. Right. Because my family size pretty much doubled. So all that stress, headache, fighting off, trying not to go bankruptcy on secret, because I was in the middle of adoption process. I don't know if you knew this or not, but if you ever file for bankruptcy, you cannot adopt a child, at least in most states.
Interesting.
Because you have to show financial solvency and literacy to some degree, because if you're gonna go bankrupt, you're taking kids with you, right? So didn't know that going in, but I was able to, through God's providence, navigate that particular, and it was real estate related, short sales, yada yada yada. But that journey and that, like, seeing how I stressed that out and I pulled out, it gives me a heart for other dads who say, well, we want to do something like that. I was adopted, or I wanted to adopt, but I'm not making money like that. Kids cost a lot of money. I got a small house. How am I going to do it? So the heart's there, but the pockets are not straight. So whatever I do, however I do it, and if it's the vehicle of trash, so be it. I mean, might as well be an impact thing. But like, my true heart, my true intention is to have conversations like this, inspire other dad entrepreneurs, possibly help them through. And then when they're to that point, they consult with me, and I tell them about my journey, what I did, some of the tips and tricks I learned. And I call it my journey to 100. And that journey involves, I want to see 100 kids adopted through my lifetime. That's awesome. So, live out what you talk, be about it. Don't talk about it, be about it. We adopted 5. I helped 2 other entrepreneurs adopt 3 kids. There's a couple more in the chamber, but I'm falling behind for me. So, but that's how I don't care about a cold walk. I don't want to necessarily need to be out on TED Talk. Whatever platform or influence I do gain, it's going to be to have a conversation like this, a long tail conversation, so that 2, 3 years, 5 years from now, you're like, hey, remember that you said that thing? I'm looking into this. What do you think? That is what I'm for. So all this is kind of like the candy coating and the distraction to get you to the true intention. My secret, agenda. My secret evil agenda, I guess you could call it, taking over the world. So thank you for letting me share that with me, because I love that, talking about that. And you pulled the dad thing out, so I'm not going to trump you. I'm just going to be like, let's keep that going. Let's go. Thank you for being most proud of that. I think that's awesome, and it's not a statue or a building or a amount in the bank, because nobody gives a crap about that. Amen. Really, at the end of the day, you can't take it with you, right?
Amen.
So what are you most excited about right now that's going on in your life?
Yeah, I'm most excited about living in St. Petersburg. As I mentioned before the podcast, I've lived all around the world, and I've been in the Tampa Bay area for a year. And in all frankness, it's probably been the most joyous year and one of the most productive years I've ever had in my career. I'm excited about the things we're doing here. You know, I've been fortunate to help some companies raise capital in this town. We host some great events. We host our VC Fast Pitch, where we raised millions of dollars for entrepreneurs locally already over our last 4 events. We have a phenomenal event we're going to be hosting in September 21st. It's called Inclusive Exclusive, where we're going to bring the have-nots and the haves together in one place for music, entertainment, networking. So we're excited about that. But I'm at the most joyous part of my life in a really long time, and that's the thing I'm most excited about.
Yeah, the sun will do it to you. St. Pete's is awesome like that. I mean, not for nothing, we did talk about this, but like here, Tampa, St. Pete's, Clearwater's, this triangle. This is, to me, it's the new Silicon Valley, Sand Valley, because Miami is it's in tech, but it's like it's not easy to like connect with people there because they're just already established. Too many gatekeepers.
Right. And I tell everybody this is Austin 20 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, I agree.
And I think, you got the great blend of culture, smarts, capital. That's the thing it's saying about being
attitude.
Here. You're absolutely right.
It's the attitude, really.
I can tell you right now, I have been here a year. I probably know 4,000 people. I can walk down the street and people know me, which is crazy. And the thing I love about Tampa Bay, it's a big city, but a small town at the same time.
Exactly.
And it's got that. You're right. There's no gatekeepers. There's no velvet ropes.
Yeah.
It
ain't even 6. There's not even 6 degrees of separation here. It's like there's like 2. Maybe.
Exactly.
And it's an easy hop. It's better than LinkedIn.
Exactly.
Without all the spam.
Yep.
It's like, oh, I need to connect with that. Just show up at this time and date and say hi because he's going to be there.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's that. Hey, that's a good tagline for Tampa. Tampa, like LinkedIn minus the spam. LinkedIn in real life.
Right.
Nah, that's cool. What about your vision for the future? Like now that you've gotten to a place and happy, because that's really it. It's just like clearing your mind.
Right.
Because that's how I came up with my app idea.
Sure.
I had to clear my mind. I had to get away to come back and be like, look at it from a different angle, because when you're in it and just, I don't know, head down, grinding, you can't see all these opportunities, or you can't even think about them on a higher level.
Right.
And it took me like a year and some change to get to the point where I could come up with something that was feasible, right? Made sense, market research, everything that goes into one of these things. For you got to that, you're rocking and rolling now. The vision for the future for Black Dawg or for you?
Well, for me personally, I mean, honestly, I came here to retire. I thought I was going to retire. I tell people I unsuccessfully retired twice, once in 2000 and once when I moved here. But I just saw so many opportunities, and people are so receptive here. I feel like I'm Tom Brady, and I got one more Super Bowl in me, and that's what I'm trying to do here.
It's just get yourself free, because I mean, isn't she now? maybe you could live his life one way or another. Who knows?
I'm not sure I'm in that league, but thanks for the offer.
I ain't offering anything. I don't know her. Don't get me in trouble, bro. My wife might watch. I don't think she watched any. Yeah, say what you want. All right, so I think this is the time to get to the fun stuff, right?
Okay.
So, trash or cash about the ideas. 2 guys. I'm a tech founder now. Retired as well, but not from tech. You obviously know what you're doing. I want you to go first. I don't know how good my idea is, to be honest with you. Like, I was just thinking about something specifically for you. I have 2 of them. One I have for you, and one I just want to share.
Okay.
You know what? I'm going to give you that one. It's because it's a surprise. It's about this guy right here behind us that's filming. So you might dig it a little bit. All right? And I didn't tell him about it, so he's probably going to get pissed, but who cares? As long as you don't cut off the camera.
Go for it.
I want you to go first. I'll tell you my... Okay, let's hear
you want me to give you your idea? My idea?
I want you to give me an idea first.
I have a good idea I want to share with you.
All right, good. So this is how these things work. Okay. Basically, for me or you, like once we decide on what we believe in, if it's a cash idea or a crash idea, we just hold it up to whatever camera's pointing at you and just tell us why. Or what usually happens here is just somewhere in between with some tweaks. Okay. So that's always good because that's what this is about. Tweaking, workshopping, brainstorming with a purpose. And potentially one of these things becomes, I don't know, maybe it becomes one of your next projects. Who knows? But that would be awesome because the last time I started doing podcasts, I ended up with my founder.
Okay.
So I know that these things might not necessarily lead to, I don't know, riches or whatever influence, but what they can lead to is still very interesting and worth taking a shot at.
Sure.
So having said that, let's hear what you got.
Okay, so this idea came to be about 3 weeks ago. I was walking down Central in downtown St. Pete, and some homeless guy came up to me, asked for money. And I don't carry cash anymore. No one does. So it dawned on me, what if this guy had a QR code? And the QR code did two things. One, deposited money into his bank account that he could pull out. And secondly, reward people every time they click the QR code. And so the idea is you serve a few purposes. One, you help the homeless get on their feet, learn about financial and services and banking at the base level. You give someone an opportunity to do good, and at the same time, once they do that, they get a coupon to go to a local independent retailer and support local retail. That's my idea.
Now let me ask you something. I'm going to say this, and you're going to know why in a second. How serious would you be about bringing that into the world? A version of that.
I'm already working on it, actually.
Okay, so here's something you might find interesting. I'm going to show you this. So it's a cash idea.
Okay.
This is a card. There's a trash token attached to it. Mm-hmm. So impact-wise, what this was meant to do was part of the app that I created is I wanted to do something where it's a game, but like kids, the unbanked and homeless people, incentivizing them through little tasks such as clean up this area, take out these trash cans, join this thing, clean up this lot. They would get trash tokens deposited on this card. They would not need a bank account. The economy is off this card so that you're not dealing with that because, in the beginning it would be like, well, how do you incentivize them? Okay, electronics. Okay, so you do a certain amount of tasks, it equals your phone bill. Your phone bill's paid for, and then level up. Stay electronic in the beginning. Sure. It's easy deliverable, but then basically create a whole economy based out of impact and doing good, where you wouldn't need a bank because you have this card, because this is a cold storage wallet.
Okay.
And the crypto's already created. The trash token's already created. But my intention with what I'm doing is to create a world where it's a big game of cleaning up the earth and everybody's incentivized to pitch in by, creating an economy, basically trash into treasure, meaning the token is the treasure. Sure. Which in the beginning, electronic, but then teaming up with Starbucks, Wawa, whoever says, yes, we'll take trash tokens, because we know why. This stands for, it's an impact coin, just like C-Chain.
And it's so interesting you mentioned Starbucks, because, now that I moved here, I do mostly independent coffee for obvious reasons. But I'll go to Starbucks every once in a while, and I notice homeless people go there all the time to get some water or get some coffee. I mean, a couple of times I actually buy those, containers of coffee and a bunch of cups, and I just give it to the group of homeless people. And it would be interesting if they can go in with some level of pride and give them this card or use an app or whatever and get a cup of coffee and not have to beg for it, not to ask for it, be part of the economy. And I think it's not only a financial benefit, it's a psychological benefit. And I think they can feel good about themselves because they're a valid consumer like everybody else.
Well, it looks like we are on a similar path. And so I'll definitely get at you for more of this because this was the hardest part for me. I already know how I was started value adding. I was going to start with kids because kids are the easiest adopters. Homeless are probably going to be the hardest. The unbanked are somewhere in the middle. Right. But everybody operates off a cell phone. So if the cell phone and the card kind of go together, and this can be accepted in enough places, the economy is built. Sure. And it's basically Web 3.0 for the recycling, where you used to trade it in a bottle and you get 5 cents or whatever. Sure. This is kind of like I said, Web 3.0 version of it. But, I'm one guy, fell into this by accident, still making it happen. That doesn't stop me. Sure. But, these conversations right here. Right. I didn't know you were going to say that. We barely know each other, right? So it's just funny that, and I got the card created. This is actually, this is a Doge one, but I know the crypto exchange that would make these cards for me, put it on the exchange, make that happen. I just don't have,
Well,
I don't have the
I own
runway.
stakes in 3 Web3 companies, so we can definitely help on the back end.
Oh, let's wrap this up. I'm done for today. I got what I came for, Holmes. Nah, that's awesome. So cash idea, definitely, because, it was my idea too.
Good.
Can't be, man, listen. There you go. Dad stuff, cash stuff, trash stuff. We in this together. All right, so let me give you my idea.
Okay.
There's 3 of them here, but I want to give you this because,
His idea.
Yeah, well,
I want to hear his idea.
he's the inspiration for it. I'm
Okay.
filling it out, but he would also be the face of it, the brand.
okay.
Like you need a front man. Like if
Sure.
you have a band, he's the Bon Jovi, he's the David Lee Roth, whatever.
Right.
He's the guy, right? Because the idea came from who he is. And real talk, I already took I bought the domain name for it yesterday. So you still got to go through me, homie.
I mean,
No, but no.
Since you brought up the
Yeah,
idea,
yeah,
it'd be fucked up for me. That's how you protect yourself too
Yeah.
from people.
No, I bought it because you
yeah.
might not, and somebody might hear this and be like, "Oh man, like, go in and mess me up," because I found something close
It's only
enough.
one domain, but I have another domain too.
No, but you don't got IamYourStoryteller.com.
Okay.
I got that. So
Let's hear it.
all right. So it's called the Storyteller app. So
Okay.
what it is, think of it as an a la carte personal branding strategist on your phone. If you need a reel, because this is what we produce here. A lot of entrepreneurs, they do good work, but nobody knows about them. So they work in the trenches. I mean, that's what they're supposed to be doing. But
Right.
guys like me, it's like, well, you need attention too. You need both sides. Well, it's a pain in it, but I mean, you're able to do it. You're able to duct tape things together all the time now if you need a reel. But it's finding the right people, doing it cheaply enough, because it's it's long tail stuff. It's like ad revenue spend, and you don't know if it's doing anything. That's the trick. Like, what's the result of this reel, of this effort, of this cost? What's my ROI?
Sure.
And it's all over the place. You got to hire agencies, all this stuff. So what if there's an app? And like I said, it's a personal branding strategist. If you need a reel, the MVP is if you need a reel, you go on your phone, driving, whatever, blah, blah, blah. This is my value add, my 1 minute reel. Boom. It sucks it into your app, takes it, puts all the titles on it, maybe for a subscription service, or you can do one-offs. Like, hey, I just want to try it out. All right, it's X amount every time, and it puts you a decent product. So now you don't have to go and, yes, there's free apps, but you still got to take the time to edit it and put it all together. This does it all for you. Double checks that like the spelling is right, because you can always, you can always farm this stuff out to Fiverr in India, but they mess up certain things,
Right.
and it shows. And it's not a big deal because people consume it so fast. But point is, quality in America, we care about, unfortunately, grammar. To some degree, we care about it. So it starts with that, to hook them in. And then you get a monthly. It's like, hey, you get X amount a month. And it can stay there. And you can be like, oh, I'm just going to be a casual user. It's going to be for my personal brand. But what it starts to do is, because it intakes your information. What do you stand for? So like my dad's story. It starts asking you questions and start finding you ways, people to connect to. And then it says, okay, look, your brand is this. You need to like double up on this. This is the trend. It starts telling you. It starts finding these things for you, so that it helps you develop your personal brand and ask the personal questions of what you really stand for, because we don't always know. Like, we have to talk it out. Sometimes you got to hear it out loud. Man, I sound like an a-hole for saying that, or, oh, that was genius. But we don't know until we get it out in the world. But so this is kind of like your co-pilot on figuring you out.
Okay.
And then it says, hey, you should link up at this event. This guy is just like you, this influencer. Let's do a collab. It starts to basically become your personal branding agent.
Okay.
And then like if it's a business, it's like, okay, use these colors, cross this over. It really just advises you through AI, through the whole process. And it takes you and it just up levels you to where you become an influencer. If you get a certain amount of views, maybe it gamifies. It gives you like, hey, you got like Facebook. Facebook would tell me, oh, this reel got 3.5K views. Awesome. Where's my money? Well, you can get paid, but like it's so many. It tells you can, but when it actually comes to getting paid, it doesn't deliver.
Right.
Right. Like in other words, it tells you can, and then it makes it so hard to get paid. It's like, all right, well, I'm just going to ignore that because you made it too hard. There's always a glitch with you guys, right? So it elevates a person. It finds them little ad stream revenues, opportunities. It might go out there and be like, hey, micro influencer, these brands are looking for somebody to do, but eliminates the spam, the bots, the impersonal touches, because it's your AI assistant, right? And the whole point of it is to tell your story the best you can, develop you find you affiliate offers, helps you make more money. The point of it is taking your brand and turning it into a money-making machine and becoming the intersection between the influencers that are really good at content production, but don't have a really good affiliate market or offer developed because they don't know what to do or how to do it, or find something congruent that already exists with them. They got to create it themselves.
Right.
Or the actual really value-driven person that just does not have the time to go out looking for those people who would do it for them. It's basically the marriage of what UGC is supposed to be, user-generated content. You find the people to make you the best stuff and not just pay them, but like collaborate with them and build each other up and basically create this, I am your storyteller. That's what it's called. I am your storyteller. That's his brand.
Okay.
And he inspired it. And I see this as like a mechanism that small producers, like he could use that as like to get more clients. Hey, he could just put it in there and have it help him develop. So in the beginning, it might just be like 4 video guys. But then you too, anybody can get on this thing and get guidance from professionals like them. And maybe there's even education segments that these people put in and they get points and they get some benefit out of it because listen, Gary Vee said it best. We are in the attention arbitrage business anymore.
Sure.
Like America has always been, their biggest gross national product has been Hollywood, talent, songs, entertainment. And now it's getting smaller and smaller and it's still there, but now it's more personal. So why not get in front of that, encapsulate it, give the people what they want, build them up, monetize it. I don't really see it as like this. I don't know if it's a unicorn. I could see it as a eight-figure business maybe. I don't know. Maybe you see something, but we have all the pieces there. There's no new technology that really needs to be built, just some tweaks. But to me, it's not a blue ocean and it's not a red ocean. It's a pink ocean.
Right.
So that's my idea. Like I said, it was inspired by my man right here. What do you think of that?
Well, I'll ask you a couple questions. Have you researched the others in the space?
I know that there are lots of attempts to create something like this, but they're not. So I haven't done the full market research, if that's what you're asking.
And that would be be the number one thing I would do, because the reality is I'm a big believer. I tell everybody, especially entrepreneurs, how you raise money and scale a business to answer a couple key questions. What's the problem you're solving, and why is it a big enough problem for enough people to mean something? Then after that, you say, what's your solution, and why is it better? Is it faster, cheaper, more efficient? And then you really got to look at the competitive landscape, because the reality is, there's all kinds of stories about people doing a lot of research for a good idea. There's a famous story years ago. McDonald's used to spend $500,000 to do research on where to build a McDonald's. Burger King waited for McDonald's to go up and built one 2.5 miles away. So what I would tell you is this. You have to find a niche in this space, because the problem most entrepreneurs have, they want to try to boil the whole ocean at once. Well, I would tell you and your friend, find an industry niche or even a geographic niche. Own that first. That's going to vet out a lot of the problems or a lot of the issues, because the challenge is a lot of your competitors, quite frankly, are just trying to go after everybody. I'd be super hyper targeted. So if you're going to offer this service, offer it for a very core group of people, whether it's podcasters, whether it's people geographically here in St. Peter, Tampa Bay. It's a good idea, but it needs a little more research and a little more thought in terms of how to really micro influence the opportunity.
I'll take whatever it is.
I'll give a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
There in between. Yeah. No.
It's a good idea, but some people have already carried the trash a little bit on it.
And that's acceptable, because I know that, and that's why I'm glad we're having this conversation. You reinforce something that obviously I don't have time. This is a quick pitch, but the geographic or niche thing, right? So to answer that question, I would do both here, because there's nothing like, for me, Tampa right now, to test out an MVP.
Absolutely.
Because people are here, so I'll give it a shot. Like, not somewhere else where are you just trying to get my email, or you just trying to get my money?
Right.
It's like, oh, that's a good idea. Let me try it out. I'd be going after the first of all, entrepreneurs, small business professionals that don't have time to do none of this themselves, but they know they need it.
I'd be even more specific than that.
In the Tampa area. Okay, go ahead.
What I mean by that, entrepreneurs and small businesses is a very wide swath of businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's real estate agents, maybe it's financial services, maybe it's construction. You're in real estate, maybe it's real estate. Own that vertical. Because what's going to happen is a couple things. One, if you decide to own a vertical, they begin to talk. And you begin to expand organically through that vertical.
Kind of like what my favorite accounting software, Wave Accounting, did, where it's like they gave free accounting, but their play turned into offering the financial services and the payroll services behind it, and that became their play because there's already a lot of accounting software out there.
Right.
But they were like, okay, we're good enough, but we're really about this part. So, yeah, I get that, and you're right. That's kind of like I said, I would test it out with the people here because these people here, everybody wants to create this content and want to get out there. They just can't do all of it.
Right.
So, and it can be done pretty cost effectively in the beginning because, like I said, MVP wise, it's literally just sacking together a couple of AIs that already exist and popping it out. But it's the delivery mechanism and what it does from that, and the secret sauce being the USP being like, okay, that's great. But how, like my other problem, which is why do I create this content if it's not doing anything for me? It's the tracking of the impact, finding the, like-minded people who would share your stuff, barding with them, share mine, I'll share yours, all that invisible stuff that actually shows numbers for them, putting that together. But I know I'm probably, and that's why it's his idea and I'm going to get him to work on it. So I hope you're listening, Alan, really good, because the market research in these things, it's like, some of this got to be done by somebody else who's in it more than me. I have some understanding, but like the mechanics and the other stuff, because this podcast being one example, we get all this content, but who's going to chop it up and slice it and dice it and make it small? Right. That's another thing that stops people from doing it. Sure. But everybody knows they need it. Right. So it's like there's people that will rather pay, and I might be one of them. I'd rather pay someone $10 to do it for me than take an hour to do it myself, because I would rather be talking to you for an hour than messing around on my phone trying to make a super crazy edit that 12 people saw.
I agree 100%. When I was 22 years old, I was a stockbroker in Lafayette, Louisiana, and I was licking envelopes and sending out stuff. And my boss came to me and slapped me in the back of the head. And he goes, "Why are you doing that?" I go, "Well, I got to get it out." He goes, "No, that's a $5 an hour job." Obviously, it was a long time ago. We're billing you at $100 an hour. Don't do $5 an hour jobs. So I agree 100% with that.
And saying that to your wife is a hard thing. But to that point, I've heard that before. And here's how it manifested into real world for me, just because we're talking about that. And we'll wrap this up in a second. But it's just a funny story. Mowing lawns. Mm-hmm. I used to hate it. It was the mental. First of all, in college, they had me doing like for odd jobs. It's like they stuck me on the landscaping crew, and I had allergies, but I had to do it because I, what do you call it? Student, it was part of like I had to work some of my debt off, I guess you could say, right? So I forget the exact term, but they put me on that, and then I ended up doing the leaky pipe plumbing, which was cool because I was just digging and putting the pipe, but I was like, oh, I hate this crap, right? So when I looked at my lawn, I was like, oh, there's a hill. I got to make sure I got gas. And so it was this mental agony, not just the actual hour it might take me, but the 3 hours of agony thinking I got to get gas, check this, go get the weed whacker, clean up after myself. Is the grass high enough? All this collateral BS that goes behind just mowing the lawn. Right. I was like, oh, I hate this so much. And I was like, I'm just going to pay someone to do it. And I get the side eye. It's a small lawn. I'm like, you don't understand. It's not the lawn it's not the small task. It's all the mental energy it's taken from me is worth it for me to just throw it at somebody.
Absolutely.
And that was like the click in my mind. It was like, all right, that's what I'm going to do from now. And people always ask me, how are you a firefighter? You got 6 kids. You do this real estate stuff. I'm like, VAs, homie. There's somebody that's to do it for cheaper. If I'm working in the firehouse and getting paid $40, $50 an hour, I got enough money to pay somebody $10 an hour to answer phones for me because they're just taking a piece of mine, and I ain't got to worry about it. And when I go home, I can catch up.
No doubt. And
that was like the shift for me, I don't know, 20 years ago, whatever, to get into that. But like sometimes it takes that. Like what you said is like a high concept, but take the smallest thing and be like, whatever you hate the most.
Sure.
Like, listen, I'd rather go out there and make $500 hustling something than pay this and
Right.
do this myself because I'm not doing the higher value work that's going to get me farther.
Right.
So thank you for bringing that out because like that's wisdom that it's been with us a while, but it takes somebody to talk about it and bring out specific examples for it to really click for somebody. So I hope that somebody out there, I'm not trying to take away lawn care work from any man who really feels like he needs to do that, because that's a serious dad thing. You got to mow your lawn straight, wear your New Balance. Like, that's a flex. That's not one of my flexes. I'm a dad, but that's one of the things I'm like, don't even ask me about the lawn. I don't care.
Right.
I do not care if there's a little brown spot. I don't care. None of that.
See, I hired a landscaper so I could coach my kids' football team.
There you go.
It's priorities.
Exactly. The thing you like more. So, man, that was awesome. So, first of all, I want to make sure, later on I'm gonna get that link because I want to share it out for the September thing. How can people out here in Tampa, and I'm not gonna limit it to Tampa, but if you want to get with Scott, you should probably just take a vacation, go get an Airbnb, come to St. Pete's for a minute, come around October. It's my birthday. We'll throw a party. We'll combine events. I don't know, but how do you want people to connect with you out there in the world of internet, IG, Instagram,
Yeah,
Facebook?
they can find me at my website, blackdogventurepartners.com. If they have if they're an entrepreneur looking to pitch their event, they can go to vcfastpitch.com. I'm under all social under Black Dog CEO.
Black Dog CEO. Is there any one thing like you're looking for specifically, or you just bring it all and I'll sort it out kind of thing? How's that work for you?
I like a story. I like someone who has overcome something. I have a company that I invested in a while back, a company called Sober Roots. And I met this woman, Monica, at an event in Tampa that I was hosting. And she was just a receptionist at the event. And then she told me the story how after going through chemo, she lost all her hair. And instead of laying on, just complaining about it, she drove an Uber for 80 hours a week to build her own leave-in conditioner product to help people that lose their hair. And so, she took something that could have destroyed her life and turned it into a business. And those are things I want to hear. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have passion around the problem, if it's just about money, I could care less. You have to solve a problem you're passionate about. And those are the type of people I'm interested in. And again, money's great, but there's as you move up the Maslow's hierarchy, there's other things become more important.
Yeah. I mean, we all have our different things that make us happy. Some people collect things, or eggs or whatever. It's like,
Right.
That makes you happy.
Sure.
And I think when you get it to a certain point, I'm not trying to poop on anybody's dreams, but there's people that even show up in this building talking about, hey, the Bentley. I'm like, I can rent one of those. I just go on Turo. Like, I mean, that's not like a thing for me.
That's so funny you say that, because I think I'm going to go full Floridian. I'm actually going to sell my BMW and get a scooter for downtown St. Pete.
Dude, I got a plug for slingshots. Let me introduce you.
I would love to.
You hear this? Yeah. This is happening. Because we're going to start running around in a slingshot to do our interviews.
Yeah.
So he's like my friend. Sure. So we're, one way or another, we're going to be in a slingshot. And when you, test drive wise, we're going to do events where you can just come test drive one.
Right.
I definitely give you a holler so you can play around with it for a minute.
Cool.
But you gotta, if you're in this area, you gotta get a slingshot, because that's the fun thing. Like, people, they just look so cool. You can mod them out, and you're not killing gas. And
right.
The weather's usually good enough. I would definitely get a top one with a top though, because the rain here and the sun beats your ass up. But
yeah, for sure.
Other than that, but the slingshots are fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. Well, this was awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
My pleasure.
Hey, guys, that's the end of the podcast. This was pretty fire for me, especially if we can rock and roll with this homeless idea, because I did make some attempts and there were some challenges around it I can kind of tell you about, and an organization that I could even say, hey, here's an organization we can kind of play with and test these things out. But there are a lot of challenges with homeless people. And the first and foremost is just nailing them down somewhere. Obviously, they don't have a home and they move around a lot. So that's why the card idea was resonating with me, and not having a bank, because they can, the bank is in their pocket, right? So we'll talk about that. But yeah, man, appreciate you for coming out. Thank you for your patience. I know we ran a little late too.
No worries.
And I'm glad that I hit you up, met you the other day, ran into you the other day again. And let's get you in a slingshot. I'm not even a salesman for but for purely selfish purposes, let's get you in a slingshot so I can ride in the side and be like flex with you a couple times on the St. Pete Beach. Oh, I gotta get you to my man who does the beer. You like birria tacos?
Sure.
So my friend does the Birria Brothers, and they're in St. Pete's.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, I'll come out there and we're gonna go there. We'll eat. We'll talk. We'll chop it up, because he's also from Philly. A friend of mine. Funny story.
You know, I lived in Bucks County.
No, I didn't. Which part?
I lived in Levittown and Morrisville. So I spent some time in Philly.
So the first guy here was great because he's from Philly too. He's a local pastor, and so this has been kind of a Pennsylvania day, because here's the second one today. So interesting, another theme today. But appreciate having you. Thank you very much. That's it for the Trash or Cash podcast, and hopefully you enjoyed this. Definitely reach out to Scott with your big ideas. You see how he kind of ripped me up? Like, that's what you need, though. You need people around you to kind of like tear your idea up, not to tear you down, but to make you think smarter, wiser, rethink before you do the dumb idea of just throwing a bunch of money at something and then like, oh, now what? You know what I mean? Back yourself in a financial corner. And, a financial analyst and a VC is probably the best person you could have kind of beating up your idea. So, again, I appreciate the feedback. So thank you, man.
My pleasure.
That's it. You got any catchphrase? I mean, you are a Floridian now. You're about to go full-time Selleck probably, especially if you get this slingshot. Like, you need a catchphrase for, like, what's Black Dog's kind of like, catchphrase? Yeah.
Solve problems, create opportunities.
Look at that. Trash or Cash podcast. Solve problems, create opportunities. Give me money. Give me that cash. All right, brother. Thank you.
All right, thanks, man.
Well, that concludes this episode of Trash or Cash. Make sure you follow on all socials at Trashmitter. That's TrashMitter. And keep up with all episodes at trashorcashpodcast.com.